Hmm. Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. This morning, I'm going to talk to y'all about rounds. And I'm not talking about these kinds of rounds, another kind of rounds. We'll also take a look at what's going on the other channel, how that's working out. And stick around till the end. I've got another channel that most of you have not heard of that I think is one of those gems that has yet to be discovered. All right, cue the intro. Morning in the Ozarks. And we're back, sorta. Didn't go to cameraman school. Let me tell you something. When we got back, we're on Shofar Mountain, obviously. When we got back here, it was cold, 20 degrees. Woo! I'm talking in the house. And now there's this south wind blowing, and I'm sorry for the wind noise. There's a south wind blowing, and it's kind of warm. I mean, it's dawn, and I'm sitting out here in just a t-shirt and a sweatshirt. So that's not bad. It's probably in the 40s. Hey, the south wind is bringing in some rain, possibly. So for the pistol course, Viking Pistol 1, this coming Sunday and Monday, those of you who are coming, bring rain gear. All right. Rounds. My wife and I have been gone from Shofar Mountain for 2 months, which, as she put it, is 1/6 of a year. And there's a lot of things I had planned to get done here during those 2 months. They're actually very productive months here for us. Um, why? Because it's not stinking hot and because there's no chiggers. And those of you in the northern tier probably don't know what chiggers are, but they're these skin mites that live in the woods. And when you go in the woods when it's hot, they get up under your skin and they just itch like nobody's business. And then there's ticks and snakes and all that other stuff. Well, they're not around right now, and so now's the time when you want to get out and, for me anyway, cut firewood, clear brush, play in the woods, put up fencing and that kind of thing. And my son told me he took a class one time called Family Folk in the Land in college. And a lot of what he learned, I'm finding comes true here as we live this neo-pioneer lifestyle. And that is rounds. We have daily rounds, weekly rounds, monthly rounds, and yearly rounds. And those are just things that you do at a set time all the time consistently. And I'll give you an example. Daily round. Wake up, pray, read your Bible. In the wintertime, the rounds change. Stoke the fire, right, in the firebox. Go take care of the chickens, fairly early in the morning. And then you kind of start your day. And then for my wife, she gets up and she gets breakfast going. And then, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. So your daily chores. Well, what are weekly rounds? For us, we observe Shabbat, Sabbath, on Saturday, Friday night, sundown to Saturday night, sundown. So Fridays for us are a day of preparation. And so every week on Friday, we're just trying to get all the last minute tasks done so that we can go into Shabbat and not have to do anything. Wood is stacked up, if it's cold, wood is stacked up by the wood stove so it doesn't have to be carried. Extra water's put out for the critters, extra feed's put out for the critters, and things like that. But really, what I got to thinking about was the yearly rounds. And I'll give you some examples. You trim fruit trees in February. So every February on your calendar should be time allocated to trim the fruit trees, prune them. Clean the chimney. You want to clean the chimney either after you're done using it or before you start using it again for the year. Usually it's spring here, it's wet, and getting up on a wet roof to clean a chimney is no fun. And so the time you want to clean a chimney is, I think, in the fall, right before you start using it, right? Get up there on that roof. It's not too hot like in the summertime. It's just stinking hot up on that roof, at least here. And so you get up and you clean it. Fencing. Fencing should happen, probably fall, winter time when there's no chiggers and that kind of thing. And so you just get your rounds going. We live in a society today, the vast majority of us, the vast majority of y'all, where it's not only there's no need for rounds, there's no need, it's a 24-hour society, right? I mean, you can order a pizza in some places 24 hours a day. You can certainly get on a 24-hour news cycle, right? You can get breaking news at any time of the day or night. It's like working in an alert center, a watch center. Um, and so we kind of, in our insulated cubicle lives, where we live in a house like I just did for 2 months with electricity and heat and light, and nothing ever changes inside the house except the windows change a little bit. What you're looking at outside, you kind of lose track. You lose a sense of the rhythms of life. I was talking about that on the Patreon channel, the rhythms of life that you get more in touch with the more you come outside of a system of convenience. I loved it. I love having electricity and hot running water and toilets that flush. That was cool. But you do lose touch with natural rhythms of life. And so just think about rounds. Think about planning out, not only your day, but your week, your month, and your year in advance, and allocating time on your schedule to get certain things done. Like, is there a time of the year when you change the oil of your car? I change it every 3,000 miles, 5,000 miles, 6,000 miles. Okay. Maybe. Is there a time when you rotate your tires? Again, I do that by miles. Okay, well, you could also do it by time, things like that. So, things I've been thinking about here, rounds. I'll give you another example. Your bug out bag, right? When do you check your bug out bag? Because batteries go bad, food goes bad, things didn't get put away the way you thought they did. What we used to recommend was checking your bug out, and everyone did it. We didn't have to really recommend it, but they did it. We had the National Winter Bug Out Bag exercise every year, and so people would come. So, of course, they're going through their gear before the exercise. And then we would tell them during the exercise, when you all get home, tear your bug out bag apart and put it back together correctly. I'd say probably 2/3 of the people did that. Sometimes I failed to do that, and then I would open up my Bob getting ready for a bug out bag camp out coming up, and I'd find my pot in there was still dirty from the last time because, oh yeah, I was going to wash that and I forgot. But there should be some kind of maintenance schedule, right? So think about that. Think about what you can put into your life to make that work. Sorry. Earthquake! New Madrid's letting go! Hey guys, I'm just waking up. The Patreon account, it's going good. Been putting out videos. I'm trying to do a video a day over there. A little bit different subjects. I can rant more there without YouTube coming down and hammering me. So I got to talk about this ISIS. That guy was a Muslim who did the shooting at the airport, right? Broward, what was that, Fort Lauderdale Airport? Oh yeah, he converted to Islam. I talked about that. Stuff around the homestead, chickens, things like that. I like the site because I can blog there too, so I just can put my thoughts down in words. So far, because there's not a bazillion people that went there, but there's a good number. I can have more interaction there than I can here just because of the volume of people, so that's nice. Depending on what level people join, we're going to have a monthly live chat, via this stuff. And so, I'm going to work that out. We're going to start doing that just after the first of the month, I think. And then for people at another level, there's a monthly newsletter that comes out that they can get. And so we're playing with it. I'm still learning it. If you're interested, I'll put the link to it. It's the Patreon. Everyone says, Joe, it's like Patriots. Okay, Patreon site. I'll put a link to it down below. If you want to check it out, I invite you to come over there. So there's that. I don't have to put up with the hassles of YouTube, and there's less trolls. Imagine that. People don't want to pay $1 a month and then troll. So there's that. Hey, a new site that I've been watching for a little while, and I really like them. It's a couple. It's usually the guy, but sometimes his wife gets on, and they're cool. And actually, if I'm ever in their part of the world, I'm going to try and stop and talk to them. Preppers, survivalists, former military, right? I think he's a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Semper Fi. And he has a sense of humor that you have to kind of I had to get used to it because, I've got my Austrian, Germanic, kind of serious roots, and I've been watching him, and I really like his sense of humor. He's cool. And they, I think, are a great couple. They're a perfect foil to each other. They're very different, and yet they complement each other really well. And they talk about everything, man, from guns to communications to planning to cooking videos. And so there's like something, I saw them do combatives stuff. And so cool site. It's called Step One Survival, SOS. And again, I'll put a link to that down below. Go check them out. I think you'll be happy that you did. I'm always on the lookout for new prepper channels and things like that. And this one, I'm digging it. It amuses me, as my brother-in-law says. All right, so hey, think about your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly rounds. Think about getting into a cycle, a rhythm. What is your rhythm of your day? For me, when I worked in a cubicle, my rhythm was stumble out of bed. I used to make coffee, and then I quit doing that because I figured out that added 20 minutes to my day. So literally, I would get out, brush my teeth, throw on my clothes, get in my car. I'd wake up on the way to work. Yeah, how many people are doing that? And get to my cubicle, make coffee, do my work day, come home, beer, TV, dinner, computer, bed, right? Wash, rinse, and repeat. But that was my cycle. I didn't really have a yearly cycle. It was the same every day, man. Praise the Father, I don't have to do that anymore. All right, hey, y'all think about what you're doing. Live deliberately. Do what you can with what you got where you're at. And I will see you out there.